Welcome to the Justice Room. Your life, your rights, your options. Experience and learn from discussions with legal professionals and other experts about the law, its challenges, and how it could affect you. Here at the Justice Room. Welcome to the Justice Room. Now, what do you enjoy the most about? How many years have you been practicing law again?
A little over 24.
24 years.
Yes.
And in the 24 years that you've been practicing law, what do you enjoy the most about being a lawyer?
Almost every area of our society right now, if you have enough money or you have enough power, you get to make the rules. Mm-hmm. And the justice system is the last vestige of an area where you actually have a level playing field. And what I enjoy most is taking a cause for somebody who seemingly can't win against a large insurance company, a large whatever, fill in the blank,
right,
and getting into court, just me, my client, versus a team of lawyers, all in much more expensive suits than I have,
right,
and with much bigger, war chests. And once you're in the courtroom, it's all level. And I really enjoy that, and I've had a lot of success with it. And I so respect our justice system, which almost always gets things right.
Well, that's great. Now, how long have you been in private practice since?
24 years.
24 years you've been in practice.
Yes, yes, sir.
And I think you talked about this a little bit, but
yeah,
what type of law do you really practice?
Okay. Well, my main focus is workers' compensation, which I'm board certified in. But I've also handled many family law cases. I actually won an award from Legal Aid for taking a number of family law cases for people who couldn't afford a lawyer. I've litigated Social Security claims in Social Security court. I've litigated unemployment appeals. I've litigated personal injury. I've litigated products liability. My last trial in circuit court in front of Judge Dickey was a contract dispute. I handled some business litigation. I've done non-compete agreements. I've done wrongful termination. I've done basically almost every area of civil law that you could name. I also did some real estate because I had a real estate license for a period of time when I was helping my wife with her real estate career. And so almost everything civil I've done. I've just done a small amount of criminal way back in the early years, so I'm certainly not a criminal expert by any means.
Right. Now, something that our listeners should know is that the candidates that we're talking with are candidates that are running for Seminole County Court Judge, Group 5. And so we're going to ask some relative questions as to their relationship with Seminole County and also maybe just the Central Florida community. So my next question to you is going to be, how long have you lived in Seminole County?
I've been in Seminole County, Jay, a little over 20 years. All 5 of the girls that I mentioned, my 4 daughters and my niece, graduated Seminole County Public Schools. 2 of them graduated UCF with honors, 1 FSU with honors. 1 got her nursing degree doing 2 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, and 1 is a freshman in college right now. And every one of them, no matter where they went to school, have to root for the Gators because my wife and I paid for their college educations.
Okay. Now, what made you decide at this point at this time in your career, to go from an attorney to running for judge?
This had been my goal since I was in law school. I make decisions early on. I make 5-year plans, 10-year plans. And I decided that the ideal career for me would be as a trial attorney for approximately 20 to 25 years, try and make a difference in the law, try and make a difference in an area of the law, try and help a lot of people, which I think I have done all these years. And then I'd like to be a judge for 20 years and try and affect change on that level and maybe make a difference in our justice system in ways that you can't as a private attorney.
Well, now, what type of qualifications do you feel that you possess that would make you the better candidate for judge?
Well, I wasn't planning on comparison, but in order to be an effective judge, you need a number of qualities. Number 1 is you have to know the rules of evidence. You have to know the rules of procedure. And the only way you can do that truly is to be in the mix, to litigate cases. I've been a litigating attorney, a trial attorney, every day of my life. And I've done over 1,500 depositions. I've done over 600 mediations. That's what I like to do.
Yeah.
And that gives you the experience so that when something comes before you on the bench, you know how to deal with it. You know the rules, so to speak.
Yeah.
I also think that life experience is important.
I want to interrupt you for one second.
Oh, of course.
But
this is your show.
You said a word that really just caught my attention, and it's one of my questions later on in the show. But since you brought this word up, which is the word rules.
Yes.
Okay. Every candidate has their own set of rules that they have to abide by as they're running for a candidate judge. So my question to you would be, would you be willing to withdraw from this race if the only way that you knew you could win would be to break a rule?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, I've given a lot of thought to being a candidate and being a judge, and I think there are three qualities, Jay, that if a person has any one of these three, they should not be a judge. And I think most lawyers would agree with this. Number one is they think they're the smartest person in the room. I think if you're pompous, you should not be a judge and have all that power. Number two is you feel you're entitled to the job. Nobody's entitled to be a judge. Nobody's entitled to have any kind of position of authority. You have to earn your right.
Sure.
And number three is if you're willing to do anything to get elected, don't run for judge, because there's too much writing on it. We've had problems with judicial candidates. We've had problems with judges, and it reflects poorly not just on the judiciary, but on the entire legal profession, because the general public sees all the lawyers as what the judges do as the role model.
I see. I'm glad I'm asking that question to every candidate, but it just happened to come at a good time when you mentioned the word rule. So I'd like to go back again to the original question, which was what kind of experience do you have that would qualify you? Yes. So.
Okay. In addition to legal experience, and I have more years of trial practice than all of the other candidates combined. And I don't know if I have more trials because I don't know how many they've done, but I've had more years of trial practice. There's also a life experience component. You have to have had a full life to understand where people are coming from, to understand the role that a judge has. And like I said, I've raised 4 teenagers, along with my niece, for a couple of years when she was a teenager. Raising teenagers gives you more life experience than anything in life other than the military. And none of the candidates in this race have any military experience. My son-in-law just came back from survivor camp for the Navy, and I'm somewhat glad I don't have military experience after hearing about what he had to go through. And so as far as life experience, Jay, I've raised all these teenagers, or helped my wife raise all these teenagers is a more appropriate way to put it. None of the other candidates in this race has a child that has entered middle school yet.
Right.
So there are certain life experiences that I have had that I don't think they have had yet. Maybe they will have it after time. The third thing that I think is important is understanding the community. I don't know if you know what the word prurient means, but the Supreme Court decided that what is defined as pornography is the prurient interest of that community. And what is acceptable in Central Florida is not going to be acceptable in New York, and vice versa. And so you can't really dish out or give decisions that are appropriate for your community unless you know your community. And the only way to know your community is to be out there and meeting. And so if you'd like me to go into some of my community service, the difference between my community service and any other candidate is enormous.
Yeah, and we're gonna definitely get into that. That's one of my questions, because I do want to know how you've contributed to not only Seminole County but also to the community in Central Florida.